You know what, man? Anytime we're going to do from here on, I'm just going to do a fucking Kai version for
Please, Mikey.
Old anime.
For the love of God, please, dude.
Yeah, Jordy just got hard.
I would love that to
But yeah, this is the first time Jordy's popped a boner.
be. Dude, you're not wrong. Someone should count our boners. Fuck our fucks.
Yeah.
I'm one. Mikey 1700 or something. Mikey's been killing it.
Make our own Kai
and
list.
you tell me that I'm not going to last long. Nice. Nice.
Hell
Got
yeah.
him. Got him.
Well done.
You want to do the clap?
Europe.
No, you got to do it again.
I
We're
hated
talking.
that so much.
Why, really?
And welcome back to Anime Shmanime.
Hello, friends.
What's going on, guys? Oh, spoiler alert, because I think I fucked up last time.
Yeah, we spoiled it before we said we were going to spoil it.
Yeah, so spoiler alert. But we're doing a Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yes, it is a big one.
Highly
deal.
requested.
Yes. Also, so shout out to Jake, are you back from Instagram? And we also have
Big Black's book, Elliot, my dude.
yeah, from
My
from
dude's
you-
dude, I should
Yeah,
say.
your dude's dude from
I never met him.
YouTube
Yeah.
because I know you guys
true-
wanted this anime.
Yeah, some true homies right
Yes.
there. True homies. We
Hell yeah.
absolutely love seeing every comment you guys post here. So
Yes,
thank you for
yes,
that.
thank you.
This one's for you guys.
Well, it's not just for them because I fucking love this anime so much.
Okay.
I did a rewatch of this.
Oh,
Yeah, because I was like, you know what? It's been enough time
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's gone by that I should do a rewatch.
Okay.
And holy fuck, does it ever hold up? Except for 2 episodes. There's only 2 episodes.
Only 2, eh?
There's only 2 episodes that it doesn't really hold up. Then they're like fillers, really.
Only 2 fillers is what you're trying to say right now.
I see. I have this perspective that's going to fill you with rage, whereas I
Well,
only.
no, wait. Stop there for a second. Why does it have to fill me with rage? Why can't you be kind? Why can't we come into
I will
this?
be kind.
with
That's up
kind
to
and
how you take
I
it.
will be kind. This is technically a compliment.
Okay.
I think there are 2 really good episodes of this show.
Period.
I would say
Are you
4 or
kidding?
5 really good
Are
episodes
you
of the show.
are you both kidding me right now? Are you
No,
guys
I'm
both,
serious.
Are you guys both fucked?
See the rage? I told you. I
You
did
guys
warn
are
you.
both fucked.
I did give you
straight up.
I did give you a heads up.
Actually, like, I don't think I've been this
No,
mad.
no, no. Well,
in like, are you guys kidding me?
listen.
Okay.
That you can take that however you want. I said something very simple. We can get into the discussion about it.
Jay took the road of,
But-
if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So he said the nicest thing.
I said
he could.
something very nice. I said there are 2 really good episodes of this show.
And I said
can't-
there's a couple more than that.
I didn't
Yes.
say that the rest were bad.
I'm not saying I'm bad guy, but bad guy.
You know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah.
I said one thing, and it is my truth, and I'm living it.
Dude, how?
We'll get-
Well, okay,
we'll get into it.
let's get into
My
it.
description will sum it up, and it really what it comes down to is it's like a mediocre version of every samurai story ever, but with a little bit of hip hop music.
You get fucked. Just straight up get fucked.
But
no,
that's
this
it,
is,
man.
No, man.
Where's the lie?
There is no like, okay, because this came out in 2004.
Yeah.
This is the first time that they brought samurais and hip hop together in that era,
Sure.
especially like late 99, early 2000s, where
Yeah.
hip hop was getting bigger and you saw graffiti getting bigger, especially in New York. Like,
You loved that graffiti episode, didn't you? That's your favorite episode.
oh yeah, it was great. But again, and it's very reminiscent of the time, and I think it definitely aged really well, except for 2 episodes. The pacing wasn't that bad, right? Like and also the characters are so good.
I like the characters. They are archetypes. There's not a lot of growth. They just are who they are. And I found the show to be like pretty boring, dude. Like I was bored.
Wow.
I had a hard time getting through a lot of it.
Yeah, I was hoping
Wow.
that there'd be more of like kind of an overarching story that was gonna kind of carry through.
Well-
that was like
And there was, but the way they played it was they like told you about it at the beginning and then just kept like reminding you. That was the through line. It was
these
just
little
reminders.
hints at the very end of an episode. She would come up and say something and remind you. Oh yeah, that's the through line.
Halfway through
Yeah.
the show, I literally was like, "Why are these three walking around again? Like,
Why are they
what?"
still together?
I forgot.
Dude, okay.
forgot.
Now, let me
Don't-
say, the way they get together, I liked. It's
Yeah.
part of the 2 episodes I liked, which
For
happened
sure.
to be episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really liked episodes 1 and 2, and then every episode after that, I was like, man.
The
that's a
finale
shame.
arc, I also thought was pretty dope. I was pretty riveted.
And that was that was like the second best part for me was
Yeah.
at the end because obviously you have some character growth, you have some
Yeah.
arcs coming to a close, you
Yeah.
have some things rounding out. I enjoyed that, but like there's a good 20 something episodes in between that honestly I didn't need to get me that same impact by the end. It
Could've
could have
been an OVA
it could have been
or
a
movie.
5 or 6 episode OVA,
Yeah.
and I would have been super happy with that.
Okay, you guys heard it here first. I quit.
Mikey, I'm curious, which 2 episodes didn't you like?
Yeah. What are the 2 that you
Okay,
hated?
the only 2 that I didn't like, honestly, were the zombie episode and the baseball episode. Like if they took
That tracks.
those 2, if they took those 2 out, like then I think it would have been a much more cohesive
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
like I get why they do it.
Yeah,
It's
this is
the
an
show,
anime that
man.
leans into the tropes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it doesn't shy away from any of those classic anime tropes you think you're gonna get, including several like kind of tongue-in-cheek moments where they artificially enlarge the size of her boobs.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
They're
but like
bombs.
when she,
Yeah.
but when she like gets fat and like when she eats too much.
That
like,
was
how's-
funny. That was
that was
a
actually
good
really
gag.
funny.
That was a good gag.
Yeah.
But the other thing, this was created. It wasn't a manga. It was made straight to anime, and the manga is actually really rare if you can find it. But it was also created by the dude who also made Cowboy Bebop. So as far as stylistically and like the way that he tells stories,
Yeah.
this is the whole thing. Episode per episode is like they're going to a new town to get to Nagasaki.
Yeah.
And shit happens because they just get into shit because Mugen is a fucking wild card.
Yeah.
And
He is.
like
But
Yeah.
that was the thing. Every new town they went to, it was Mugen's a wild card, so he's gonna get mixed up in something.
Yeah.
Fucking Jin is gonna find some vendetta to like to close off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he's the avenging Ronin through the entire story.
And Fu is gonna like
get
naively
kidnapped.
like get attached to someone
or get
and
kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then they have to save. And like every town, it was like, how are they gonna reach that point this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a little bit of a different flavor, right?
It was so
And-
formulaic. It was like Power Rangers. It was so formulaic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dude, I
no.
love, don't get me wrong, I love, shows like Inuyasha, and I love things that go kind of like Monster of the Week and whatnot.
Do I
and-
love that?
oh my
no,
god.
no, I know you don't, but I'm just saying, like, for me,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I think the reason why I prefer something like Inuyasha over something like this is because, like, Inuyasha, like, really goes into, like, the fantastic and the
Sure.
really outlandish and the fantasy elements, right? There's a lot more room for them to play with that.
Yeah.
This always just feels like feudal era Japan
Yeah.
fighting guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bad guys.
Yeah. Bad guys.
But like just bad guys generally.
Yeah.
There's a zombie episode, you know what I mean? But like otherwise they're just fighting dudes in Japan. And again, for a couple episodes, I'm into that. But like you got to break out of that shell a little bit to really keep me through the
man.
middle chunk of a show.
Dude, it's classic samurai storytelling, man. Like
But that's it.
no, but like
yeah.
No!
That's it. There's
Okay.
nothing else, dude.
I don't think I've ever gotten this heated.
A little bit of hip hop music.
No.
A little bit.
Shut the fuck up.
We'll get
for
into
a second.
music. We're gonna
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
music.
yeah.
We'll get into music.
Wait.
Sure.
Like it's not as formulaic as you think. Like they cover different like social issues. For example, like having that gay like
The gay
Holland-
European?
come up, especially in the early 2000s and during that time.
Yep.
Sure.
Right. They
That was
also
cool.
deal with like political stuff. They also deal with what it's like as far as like sex work and things like that goes.
Sure.
Like they're
They touch on that. Yeah.
right? So it has so much more in it. And you guys both need to fucking look.
No, dude, I'm not saying that stuff's not there. Like,
Yeah.
it's there. It's just the way that they went about, executing it and showing it. It was just kind of, it fell flat for me. Like, that's the thing is I see a really awesome show here. I just didn't think it needed to be 26 episodes long. Like I think that that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it only needs to be 24 episodes. That's it. And it's a perfect show.
Now, one thing that they brought up, and this is kind of just a general theme that pops up a few times that I wish they had maybe leaned into heavier, and you're going to get a lot of that from me when I talk about this, is that this gave me a little bit of things that I wish they'd given me more of. I wish they had leaned harder into these little touches that they put in there, the hip hop being one of them. The other one being that they come across some historical figures.
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple times. Yeah.
And it was just really cool seeing these like anime takes on these like actual historical figures,
Yeah.
right? Like it's got like this Doctor Who kind of fucking vibe to it. You know what I
little
mean?
bit, yeah.
Where like I really liked that. And
Yeah.
when I saw that starting to happen, I'm like, I hope every episode is a different historical figure.
Sure.
That they're running into, and you're seeing a different take on these classic historical people just in this universe. That would have been really cool if the hip hop had have been more than just a few record scratch transitions,
Couple of bad
and a few-
beatboxers who are thugs in a gang.
and a few backing tracks to some granted good fight scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Great fight scenes.
I'm like, make this more hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was the graffiti episode, which was fucking awesome. You know what I mean? But like, make this more hip hop.
Yeah.
Like lean into that harder, because it just felt like half stepping with a few in between scenes and then a few soundtracks. I'm like, this could be so fucking hip hop.
Yeah, they could have leaned real hard into
Yeah.
it.
See, but I think the thing is you're not considering when it came out, though, right? Because if they
Sure.
leaned into it so much so, especially in a Japanese audience who doesn't have that exposure
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we do,
Yeah.
right?
Fair
Like,
enough.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like,
makes sense.
100%. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
That if they're making it for the Japanese market, they'd have to half step it. But
right. But
I'm not Japanese. I grew up in North America, exposed to rap music, and to me, anime and hip hop were always intertwined.
Yes.
Watching crazy like videos on Kazaa and Morpheus and stuff. That
Fan
were,
edits and stuff.
It was just fan edits to like hip hop and like Linkin Park, basically. Those were like the two.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which Linkin Park had some hip hop in it. So
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying they were inseparable for me. And
Yeah.
I grew up also, I went to a high school and there was a bunch of dudes that were really good drawers. They were really into rap, like really, really into rap. And they were insanely into anime. Those guys were like, that was all they lived was rap music and anime.
And they probably loved this show.
Worshipped it.
Yeah.
Worshipped it. And then
Yeah.
the crazy thing is I didn't watch it until like
Now.
last week. You know, which I know is another sacrilege sin of mine as an anime connoisseur, but like and I get it. As I was watching it, I was like, I understand why those dudes liked this.
Yeah.
Especially as a coming home from school, and if it's on or something, or if you can
Yeah.
throw an episode on, it would
Yeah.
be fun to watch that way.
Totally.
To sit and crush 26 though,
It's not made for that.
I struggle.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I
totally made for that. So it is totally bingeable.
Mikey, you're a freak of nature, okay?
No,
This feels
it
like a
is-
Saturday morning cartoon kind of show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do agree though. If you were going like week by week and you were watching it,
better.
It would be better because it's like their own standalone story, and then there's like that overarching story.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I guess maybe it's because I have such a soft spot for anything samurai. Like my
Yeah.
favorite manga of all times is Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah.
Right? And they even have a cameo of that in the fucking anime.
Oh, in this?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there's one point where like it pans to, I think it might have been the zombie episode, but where it pans where they get blasted or something, and they're just kind of out in the distance, and they kind of do a close up on them. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Cool. That's cool as shit, dude.
Like Lone Wolf and Cub is like huge as far as like those early days.
Yeah.
Like for anything samurai, you don't really get to see a lot of that samurai stuff nowadays, though. There's stuff out there, but it's just not. It doesn't have that same kind of like old school feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Seven Samurai, like done in anime form. You know what I mean? And
well,
I think
even though they did do Seven Samurai,
they
but
did,
but
the thing with this though, like, and another kind of hang up I guess I have, and again it's kind of like a backhanded compliment I guess, is that like the animation I found to be like so like high quality and so good throughout. I was actually really impressed. I'm like, fuck, this is like OVA level animation. That like I wanted it to feel more like an OVA and not like a Monster of the Week Saturday morning cartoon kind of anime.
It could have lived up to its own hype, and it didn't.
It could have lived up to the way it looks.
Yeah. Yeah.
In structure and in depth and in like story. You know what I mean? They stretched it too thin.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that's its downfall.
You condense and you've got a really tight product here that animation-wise reminds me, honestly, of times to Redline.
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
far as the
Yeah.
thick, like hard lines, you know what I mean?
I was
Like,
even
really
going to
solid
say
outlines.
it's what I wanted Attack on Concrete to look like.
Yeah, a little bit.
With
Yeah.
in the characters, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Because it's a little similar.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
But I really do like the art style. I like the character design.
But
I
the
like
fight
the
scenes-
fight scenes are choreographed well.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
mean, like they combine breakdancing and like
Yeah. But they could have done more of that.
Yeah.
They could have done more dancing and more hip hop and more breakdance. You know what I mean? I just want more. This
Yeah.
feels like I got a diet version of something
Jay,
in some ways.
I love you so much. I really do.
It's a compliment to say I want more.
but why do you have to hurt me so?
Right?
Yeah, dude.
It's a nice thing to say I wanted just more of this.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's fair enough. Fair enough. I do agree. I'm just very passionate about samurais.
Yeah.
I guess I always idolized them when I grew up. And
You know what it
everything-
was? My whole life, everybody told me to watch Samurai Champloo, and like
Yeah, you got overhyped.
and exactly, and it felt like this samurai sword that was about to cut my head off with intensity and action and fun, and then it got here, and it was like a
Yeah.
little slap,
Yeah.
yeah.
and now I'm like
Like a
"Aw,
flirtatious
man."
slap.
and I didn't hate the slap.
Yeah, you enjoyed it.
I just wish they'd hit me a little harder. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's where we're
That's
going.
for the
That's-
OnlyFans. I take that back, actually.
Oh my God.
All right, you want to give us some history? Some pie?
Yeah. Okay. So again, this is a crazy one because it's not based off a manga, which is pretty rare for us. The manga adaptation came after. But yeah, and Samurai Champloo, or in Japanese,
I don't know. I don't know.
Samurai Champloo.
Okay. But samurai is a Japanese word.
Yes,
And shampoo, I'm assuming, is also a Japanese word.
I'm also
Yeah.
guessing that.
So that would make sense.
So a shampoo kind of like roughly translates to. I read this a little while ago, like stir fry. So like a remix.
Okay.
A mix.
I
you know,
think so.
So
Yeah,
there might be like just connotations of like or implied.
Yeah.
With that.
So it's a 2004 Japanese historical adventure anime television series. The debut production of Studio Manglobe. Some other titles that Manglobe has done: Gangsta, Samurai Flamenco. What else here?
Flamenco.
Just other types of dance mixed with samurais.
Some
No,
weird,
no.
A lot of ones that I actually
Yeah.
don't even know, like the
Yeah.
World God Only Knows.
Ergo Proxy?
Ergo Proxy.
That's
would've been
a
an early
mind
one.
fuck and a half.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like definitely a house known for like animation quality. You know what I mean? All that whole list there, like you can take a quick look at them and you'll see like
Yeah.
they take their art very seriously here.
All right.
Which makes sense when you watch this. Like it's for me, like the biggest appreciation I have for it is definitely the art. As usual, surprise.
Yeah. Weird.
So it's a 26 episode series. It aired from May 2004 to March 2005. It was first partially broadcast on Fuji TV, then had a complete airing on Fuji Network System. It was licensed for North American broadcast on Adult Swim, and for commercial release first by Geneon Entertainment and later by Crunchyroll. It was also licensed for English release in the United Kingdom by MBM Films, in Australia and New Zealand, so it's all over the place. And yeah, like I said, the manga adaptation was serialized in Monthly Shonen Ace during 2004. So the same year it came out, they got right onto a manga adaptation.
Immediately, yeah.
And I mean, I still feel like today the two are inseparable.
Yeah.
You'll never really have an anime without a manga adaptation.
No, there's a market for
No.
it. They'd be
Almost.
stupid not to.
Or
They're
a
leaving
light
money on the
novel.
table.
I was about to say, if
Yeah,
not
or-
at the very least.
At very least, light novel.
Yeah, 100%. So the series is set in a fictionalized version of Edo period Japan, blending traditional elements with anachronistic cultural references, including hip hop. The series follows the exploits of tea waitress Fu, vagrant outlaw Mugen, and Ronin Jin. Fu saves Mugen and Jin from execution, then forces the pair to aid in her quest to find a samurai who smells of sunflowers.
And that's the first 2 episodes.
Yes. Structured similar to a road movie, the series focuses on a tolerance and acceptance of minorities, contrasted against its setting, with a central theme being the portrayal and acceptance of death. Yeah, so that's a little
Yeah.
background there on it.
How does that not sound fucking awesome?
It sounds fucking awesome.
When you write it like that, it sounds great, but
Yeah.
like, does that really come across in a very strong way.
Yes, 100%.
We'll leave that up to anybody else who's watched it. I felt it did not.
Okay, you guys tell me what you guys think in the comments.
I think
my
the seeds
Shreebs.
were there. I totally see what they're saying.
Yeah.
The seeds were there. I just, again, and this could have been a cultural thing. Again, them not trying to freak
Mm-hmm.
out the public in Japan. But I think they could have gone heavier into the acceptance and the tolerance and the minorities.
Yeah.
Like, make this a celebration of all types of minorities.
Totally. And when they say a fictional version of Edo period Japan, like it just felt like regular Edo period Japan. The fictional elements, that hip hop street culture was very light, very light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aside from the graffiti episode, almost none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also thought they were going to do some time jumping back and forth because the very beginning of the show.
There was cars.
Well, you see a modern
Yes,
Japan.
yeah, you see
and
modern
then,
Japan,
And it has a little play on words because it says 1 day earlier. and you think 1 day earlier, but then you're just like, oh, no, they mean like 1 day earlier, like 1 day.
Yeah.
Like generally just one day earlier than this.
Yeah.
This
Centuries,
happened,
actually.
right?
I legitimately, by the end of watching the show, thought I made that up.
No.
I was like, that had to be in my head.
I actually thought that we were gonna have like these like mirroring parallel stories going on of like modern versions of Jin, Mugen, and Fu, and like you were gonna get the Edo Japan version, the modern street hip hop version,
Right.
and that was gonna be the mix up of this show. I really thought that that's what this show always was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were giving us a fictional world that was modern, but samurais never went away.
Right.
That's what I thought I was getting.
That would have been cool too.
That would have been way cooler than what we got.
Oh boy!
I'm just saying, dude. Like that's the show I thought I was getting that I was excited for. Instead, I
Man,
just got.
You got to be careful. Mikey's got actual samurai swords like around
That's a
him
good
right
point,
now.
yeah.
I am fucking sweating right now.
He's fuming.
I'm fooming.
I'm wearing jeans.
What?
Isn't his name Gene?
No, it's Jin.
Oh, I watched a dub. They call him Gene.
Anyway, moving on.
They would call him Gene.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, man. That's why I hate dubs, dude.
I like it.
Gene. He's got glasses. His name's Gene.
Yeah. Hey, dude. He probably knows about computers and shit.
God damn.
All right, well, we talked about the world already pretty much. We know all about that. We don't
Yeah.
have to do that. Let's talk about the music because that really is the like keystone element of this show, right?
That's I think one of the biggest reasons why this was so prevalent and why it really pushed it. And I know you wanted it to go harder into that stuff, and especially even the social like the marginalized people and all that kind of stuff. But again, I still have to watch it from what. Not only do I have the nostalgia for it, but like I still have to watch it at the time, right? Because that was pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, like they couldn't go any harder, or else it would probably have been like
A flop.
right?
No, it's a sad truth. It is.
I do feel that like certain things could have been boosted without making it flop. Like I kept expecting every time a fight broke out for like the hip hop beat to like be kicked up a notch, and it not once was.
Yeah.
The hip hop beats were just there at a low level, always happening, but like you can use music to emphasize things like a good fight scene. And if you're using hip hop, there's a lot of tools you can pull from hip hop music to kick up the energy a little bit, and they never kicked up the energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that with the music for sure.
And it's annoying too because they got some like obviously some really talented musicians and some really great like artists to be the actual music tracks, but then it almost felt like a sound or music director came
Buried
in
them.
and then buried it in the editing.
Yeah.
And didn't let it shine in the editing.
Yeah.
Because like guys, for music, so they it was composed by hip hop artist Shinji Tsuchida of Shaka Zombie, Fat John, New Habes, and Force of Nature. The music in this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
When you hear it.
Yeah.
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 And it just could have been all over this.
It
And
could have
I
been
would
the
have been
star.
like, cool.
Yeah.
I would have been like, cool. Because instead, sometimes it pops up and it's like, it's a little jarring sometimes.
You've almost forgot that there was hip hop
there's
going
hip
on.
hop
Well,
infused
there
in
was
this.
like 3 episodes after like the first 2 where you didn't really see a lot of hip hop. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of comes back.
Yeah.
The graffiti
but-
episode was so sick.
That
dude.
was cool as hell, yeah.
That was fucking cool. But yeah, I think they lean more into the hip hop culture than the music. Right, especially with the beatboxing in that episode with that dude, or just the way that they kind of use scratching to like edit back and forth, just to transition.
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah. It was all good shit. They can keep all of it.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more for me to really feel like these are well blended.
I think so too.
Not
I
just
wanted
kinda
more. I
slapped
wanted more of
together.
that hip hop element in the music at least.
Make it feel intertwined, like really ingrained, as opposed to just painted over with hip hop.
Drop a sick beat when they fight.
They do sometimes.
I mean, not really. Not really. man.
They could have worked the choreography better with the music. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Work with the musicians, choreograph it with them. Like make this more of a musical endeavor as opposed because that's what I thought it was.
Same. And I think that's why we were let down. Mikey knew what it was.
Yes.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
also true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Again, the nostalgia helps always.
yeah,
always,
the
guys.
nostalgia does really help.
Something I'll talk about under music that I noticed that was kind of like something I don't normally notice is like the Foley, the sound effects were really fucking good. The way their wood sandals clickety clacked and like the
Yes.
sword swipe sounds, all of that stuff was fucking really well done.
Yeah,
Really well
I
executed.
mean, they have to, right? Like that's
Yeah.
their jam. They've
Yeah.
done like tons of samurai animes and like
Yeah.
classic movies and stuff like that. Like they know how to make a samurai movie.
I was
It's like-
impressed by that in this. I don't think I've been impressed by that element ever before in a show or a movie, but in this one specifically, it stood out.
Production value overall for this is
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I agree. You guys want to talk about the cool ass art?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because
Character
that's
designs.
probably the shining star of this show.
Yeah.
It's the best part of the show.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
the way everything looks, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't say. I guess art can also be like the choreography in the fight scenes.
I'd
and
say
stuff,
so.
right? Like sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you've got Mugen who's like literally doing spinning bird kicks
Yeah.
and like like windmills, breakdancing,
Yeah.
and shit. And like it was just such a cool way to see like the juxtaposition from like clean samurai like Jin.
Yeah.
Right. And
Totally.
It was so nice.
They fight with their personalities.
100%. And they get called out on it. We'll talk about that later,
Yeah.
but they get called out on that
Yeah.
by people they fight all the time.
Yeah, because they come across some really good fighters and
Yeah.
they learn really good lessons from those fighters.
Totally.
Another thing that was cool about this show. That
Yeah, they weren't OP. They were kind of OP, but they weren't OP.
They're
No.
OP to a point.
Yeah.
they always
To a
just
point.
barely won their duels.
Yeah.
There were two where I think they wouldn't have walked away if it wasn't for circumstances.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Two specific ones,
Two
yeah.
specific ones. But I think I read somewhere that Mugen was, when they originally wrote this, Mugen was the only male character that they were going to have. It was going to be like him and Fu, and then
Okay.
they brought in Jin.
I
to
actually loved that they
have-
were a threesome.
Yeah.
I loved
It's
that.
very
element.
classic. I would have to
what?
say
A threesome.
a thruple.
I loved that they were a throuple.
Yeah.
But they had like brother and sister vibes.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
for
You know what I
sure.
mean? They were just looking out for each other.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
weren't fucking. They weren't having a sexual threesome. Guys.
No. I like, but that's very, it's a trope, right? Like lots of shonen does that. There's always a thruple, right? You always got the trio.
Yeah.
Right. I think this is probably one of my more favorite trios.
It's a good trio. They all have like their character archetypes really like complement each other well.
I agree it works. For me, like I've seen it so many times where you have the fiery protagonist,
Wild card.
you have the cool, collected, stoic side guy,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
have
Helpless.
the helpless crazy girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it so many fucking times. Anybody
Yeah.
else out there who watches anime knows.
Well, I mean,
and you
it's
can
like-
pick your favorites.
Yeah.
And obviously, Mikey has a nostalgic attachment to this trio. I have zero attachment to this triple dynamic.
Threesome.
I and actually like it was kind of a cute moment, but kind of also like cheapened everything when they threw in like at the very end with her little fucking coin flip revelation.
Oh, that was kind of cheap. You're right.
It-
By the
What?
way, I
Really?
faked it.
I like that. I thought that was like.
But they could have just showed us she did it when she did it. They didn't have to save that as a big deal in the last episode.
Right.
Okay, yeah, okay, I can agree with that. That's true.
It changed my perspective on the entire show when she threw that in at the end. I was just like, what? Okay.
Because they also never showed her like thinking about the fact that she had done that and what
No.
impact that had and how she duped these guys.
These guys almost died,
Yeah.
and it's just like
because of her.
It just,
Yeah.
it just felt like oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
but at the end result is that they became family and
Yeah.
they became really close.
The only friends
Yeah.
that any of them have ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the one thing about this, right? Like, I mean, at this time, Naruto is still going on, right? Like, I mean, you haven't seen Naruto yet, Jordy,
No.
but like Sakura is not supposed to be useless. She's the girl in that trio, and she's
Sure.
got ninja skills and whatnot. But where this one, they actually wrote her as a tea shop waitress, right? Like, what does a tea shop waitress have any skills? Not really, other than waiting on people, right? So,
Yeah.
so you got more of like I think a complete character in that regard.
I get what you're saying. I see what you're saying. They tried to make every part of her character that archetype, whereas as opposed to just plugging in a random person and to play that role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, I mean, they're an interesting trio, I guess. I mean, they're just like, I've just seen it so many times. I like the archetypes. You know, Jin is like very much the kind of character that I would, gravitate towards. And
And I'm
really
a big old
like.
Mugen guy.
For sure.
I
You know
love
what I mean?
that.
Yeah.
And in the same
Yeah.
way that, like,
Mikey was really vibing with Fu, obviously.
I like-
and that's his favorite character, probably.
No,
I like-
actually, she's not.
I
She's
like
not waifu.
in Naruto, right? Like I like Sasuke a lot, right?
Okay.
I don't like Naruto.
Yeah.
You'll probably love Naruto. My
Okay.
guess is if you
Yeah.
like Mugen,
Yeah.
you'll love Naruto because they are basically the same fucking person.
Yeah.
Just one eats ramen and does sexy jutsus, and one
Couldn't give a shit about anything
eats
in his life.
ramen and breakdance fights.
Yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, same guy.
Yeah.
I would love to see like an amalgamation of Jin and Mugen. I think that would be my jam.
Like a combo?
Yeah, a combo.
I don't know
where,
if it would work, dude.
where he's kind of like the all-arounder. Like I like seeing all-arounders.
Jinbei from Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
Jinbei from
Okay.
Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, yeah.
He's kind of like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but that's why that movie is as iconic as it is.
Yes,
because
that's true.
They didn't split Jinbei
He
into
didn't,
three people.
he didn't need a trio. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Well, that's the
Fuck,
other thing.
I love Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
It's so good because that's the other thing with Jinbei. He had like Fu's side as well because he was gentle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
kind.
But he
Yeah.
did also have a girl who got herself into trouble that he had to save.
Sure,
Sure, but
But I'm just saying, like, as far as this trio, she
Yeah.
brings the kindness.
Yeah.
Right? These guys are just kill, kill, kill. She brings in
Yeah,
the
it's
kindness. Jinbei actually was a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Gene had a couple of kind moments.
Who?
Gene.
Who?
yeah, say
Gene.
that again.
It's Gene.
I'm gonna climb over this table, bro.
I'm gonna not say that the whole time. So.
You know what,
I'm gonna
Shreves?
not
You
correct
guys tell
you.
us which characters you guys liked, and while you're doing that, like and subscribe.
Ah, yeah. He got it.
He did it to make us stop.
He got it.
Yes.
Yeah. And to reclaim it.
Yes.
Because I've been straight up stealing it.
He needed it. He needed that one.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you can tell a friend, subscribe to the channel, like, turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. Wherever you get your podcast, we're everywhere. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
thanks, guys. Love you. All right, so let's move on.
We're kind of already talking about characters, so
yeah.
we're like in it. Let's say we're in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one thing I mentioned before is that the lack of sexual tension in our team was kind of like nice
And
It's
refreshing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't really want to fuck, but like they're all still like kind of chirping each other about it sometimes. Like there's
Yeah.
a running gag of like Fu's ugly and flat and has no shape to her body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a running gag of she's like, why do these guys want to go off and like get chicks when I'm here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you don't fuck them.
Yeah.
So that's why, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, you're right. I actually did like that they were, they were out and they were like, paying for
Yeah.
escorts
Yes,
and
totally.
whatnot and
Yeah.
doing that whole thing instead of just objectifying one of the main characters.
Exactly.
It was
She
nice.
she really was their sister, like deep
Yeah.
down inside, right? You know what I mean? Some of the sexual stuff was a little rapey.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there were times like Mugen's in a brothel and that girl who happens to be a cop. And he
Yes.
like is literally like holding her down and chasing her and grabbing her.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for the fact she's tough and can kick his ass, how's that gonna end up?
Well, and I think that's the thing.
You know what I
That's
mean?
why they put that in it in that way. Cause
Still though,
yeah,
it makes me
it's-
not like him as a character
fair
because he would have gone for it.
Yeah. He does. That's true because there's also a point early on when they have Fu like on a little buggy or whatever, and Mugen makes a joke. It's like, man, look at you, like I'm gonna rape you, and I'm like, what? Yeah, like
No.
yeah. There's that. He makes a joke.
He doesn't say that,
Yeah,
though.
he does.
Yikes.
Yeah, and
Not
I was
in the
like,
dub.
yeah, and I was like,
I must have missed that
yeah,
line.
They're
yeah,
like they're in the dub. They're like white people won't be able to handle this.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, and then that totally caught me off guard because I didn't remember that part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, did not age well. That one part didn't age well.
What's the thing?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell if this is like, 2004 ignorant
Yeah, well, that's
male
the thing.
thinking, or are they trying to make it authentic to Edo period Japan? Which, let me tell you, I highly doubt that the women back
Yes.
then were being highly respected.
Yes,
No,
that's
for
also
sure.
true.
Yeah.
So
you're
it
right.
could be an authenticity thing that they're going
You're right.
for.
Well, I'm sure that's the case.
Could be both, honestly. But like the '90s, like
That's what
there
I mean,
was
yeah.
no filter.
Yeah, it's
Or
hard to say
like
what
the
it's more
early
of.
2000s. There's still no filter. People are using awful,
You're right.
awful words.
You're right.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, that was a little weird to watch now. Just
Yeah.
saying. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
I'm not justifying
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying that
Yeah.
could be why.
I feel like we've already talked about our three characters enough to explain them. One thing I was going to say about Fu, that's like she's got daddy issues. Like there's trauma.
100%.
There's trauma in all three
Yeah.
of these people, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and she can't stand the idea of being alone or abandoned, which is why she fakes the fucking coin flip, which is why she's always trying to keep the team together, even though these two idiots are running off to murder or fuck or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she's got serious attachment issues.
yeah,
right?
big time. Absolutely.
And they do, I'd say, out of the three of them, the best job explaining her reliance and dependence on this group.
Yeah.
It feels like she needs the group the most out of the three of them.
Well, and they have to do it that way because she's the only reason we have any plot at all.
Well, yeah, I never once questioned as I was watching it her motivations.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I questioned both of their motivations multiple times to stay.
I think their motivation in the end is they're vibing with having friends.
Yes.
I think that's the only reason they stay in the end.
Yeah,
Dude,
'cause
I'm
they
not
were
gonna
kinda
lie.
lonely.
When Jin fucking drops the friend line
Yeah.
at the end when
Yeah.
when they're sleeping
That was
beside
nice.
each other
That
after
was
a
nice.
week-long hibernation.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
Moment. That was a
Yes.
very nice moment. And that's what I mean. But I would have felt those butterflies if that had happened on episode 6, the last episode of the show,
Yeah.
as opposed to episode 26,
Yeah.
the last episode of the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have already been there.
First 2 episodes, a couple of the really good like people they meet along the road,
historical figures.
and then last 3 episodes, and there's your OVA.
Love it, dude.
Right?
I'm in.
It's
I'm
tight.
in. There you go, Mike.
It's real tight.
I'm
And
in,
then,
dude.
and then it might get like Ninja Scroll iconic status.
So are
know
you
what I
saying
mean?
I should curate this so that it's like a 10-episode anime?
Yes.
Make me
Or
Samurai
12
Champloo Kai,
Yeah.
and I will watch the shit out of that, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I will truly watch the shit out of that.
Agreed.
Oh my god, both
Yeah.
of you.
Okay, let's
do you think,
let's move
Toad?
on from what does Toad think?
What does Toad think? For our listeners, my cat just came up to me. But anyway,
He thinks chaos. That's what he thinks.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from characters because there's not much more else to say.
yeah.
I feel like we've covered them all, unless you guys have like a point you feel like has been missing, something glaring.
No, but like I think. Well, you know what? We'll get to the other characters that I really want to
During
talk
plot?
during plot. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so you open up the show. There's these 2 cool ass samurais, and they're sticking up for helpless locals. That's the first thing you see is the 2 of them are separately sticking up for locals who are like, being wronged by like assholes, basically.
Yeah.
And one of the dudes is fighting like a governor's son, which sets the precedence for how few fucks he gives in his life because he literally is like cutting off this guy's friend's arms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just disrespecting this motherfucker. And this guy's like, don't you understand? Like, I'll fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he
will
doesn't
fuck you.
he doesn't care at all. No cares.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. Except this guy knows how to say it.
yeah.
But yeah, that's really you're getting an introduction to Mugen's character. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about who he's fighting. He just wants to kill people. And then randomly they're in the tea shop and someone starts a fire, and then the next thing you know is both cool dudes are like hung up from the ceiling. They got like captured or whatever. And then the girl, this is where you see her like hilariously enlarged boobs because she's running down the street with bombs. And you don't even know her yet. So at the first I didn't even realize that was a joke. I was like,
Same.
oh, those didn't look that big a minute ago.
I literally, I was just like, oh, they're going that tropey.
Yeah.
The
Same.
boobs are just going to randomly enlarge when it makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Actually, I will have to say, just to back out up a little bit, when I first saw Mugen like block swords with his shoes,
yeah.
I was like, that was fucking dope.
Yeah. No
Again,
doubt.
I watched this a long time ago. You never see that kind of shit.
Yeah.
No one's saying the
Yeah.
art and the choreography wasn't dope. That shit was definitely dope.
Yeah.
Without
Okay,
a doubt.
dope is probably the best word for this fucking anime.
Most of it. For a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it
Yeah.
was dope.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so she does end up saving them. And then, they do that coin toss, right? Mm-hmm. And they end up having to stay and help her. Mm-hmm. But the thing is the reason they accept the deal is because what Mugen and Jean want to do is fight
Who?
each other, Jean. They want to duel each other. And she says, okay, well, we'll flip a
The
coin. You either
shade.
duel now or you help me and then you can duel at the end.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they stay together is because they got to help her in order. It's like an honor thing, right?
And they eventually want to fight at the end.
They want to fight
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like she saves them, so they got to repay her debt.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
there was a few more clashes between them throughout the show to
Yeah.
remind me
Yeah.
that was their end goal.
And there was in the first few episodes, and then never again until
lose
the
it.
very end. Yeah.
Well, they do remind you when like one goes off and then kind of gets in trouble, and like, no, I'm the one that's gonna kill you. Make sure you.
They
like,
do say it a
yeah.
few times. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Jay wanted to see it.
No,
Jay's just throwing shade.
I wanted to see them actually get in a few scraps. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, how many times do Naruto and Sasuke fight in the first season of Naruto?
Yeah, a bunch.
I'll answer the question. Oh, yeah, a bunch.
A bunch.
Yeah.
So many times. It's kind of like the main thing that you're waiting to see is
Yeah.
when's the next time they're going to fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the other thing though is Naruto and Sasuke are kids in the first season or the first series, where these are like full-grown adults.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right?
Young adults, but yeah, I'd
Yeah,
agree.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if
They-
once they're
they,
gonna throw down, it's like that's it.
They
Like, it's-
pass as teenagers. Like when
Yeah.
you're watching the show, it's like you're watching 3 teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
I
I
could
mean?
all buy them being 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay, so we find out Fu's looking for the samurai who smells like sunflowers, okay? And now they're hanging out. They're like a little team. And in this first episode, you kind of get the precedent for how every episode really goes, right? A hot girl poisons Mugen. Some gay old assassin leads Jean away from the like pools
Yeah.
and like lies to him and tries to kill him. And then they all have to fight this like giant ogre and this like psychopath from the tea house fire who's out to get them. And they win.
Yes.
And Fu has this like nice little touching moment with this giant ogre because she actually looked at his face, and it's the only person who's ever looked
Yes.
at his face. That's every episode.
That is not every episode. Okay, you guys said you loved the fucking. Oh, okay, give me a second.
Breathe, Mikey.
The graffiti episode. How is that any like similar?
That's one
any-
episode that stands out specifically as being different.
What about the episodes with the female assassin that was blind?
Same as all the other episodes. do.
How so?
Every
'Cause-
episode
'cause it's just
involves
a
being
person.
ready. Here's what every episode involves: lured by hot girls, deceived by assassins, crazy people who want revenge, saving chicks from brothels, and Fu making friends with good guys or bad guys.
That sounds like a good variety of things that happen
But
with
it's
an
like
over.
But we're talking
a
about
bunch
20
of,
episodes just using those same couple elements, dude. Over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, like you never get any background on Jin's family or
You get background
you
on
do
why
get-
he's
yeah.
a Ronin.
Yeah, but like
No, but Jin, they tell you he's like an orphan.
yeah, but like expand on that.
You get
Explore
zero
that.
background on Mugen. Not even one hint at all.
Like
That's not
bring
true. Yugen was born on a fucking criminal island.
Yeah, he was.
Is
Yeah.
that the pirates?
Is it the pirates?
Oh, yeah.
He was like
okay,
basically
yeah,
fighting
yeah,
for his life from like
Yeah.
being a child.
Okay, yeah, never
Yeah.
mind. Sorry.
But
But
those
this is what I mean.
backstories are great.
But it was like little doop doop little backstory.
Yeah.
Like make more of the story about their history or where
That's how
they've
you.
come from.
That's how you win people over to
Build-
like your show.
build the depth in the characters, right? Because I'm not learning more about these characters by episode 24 than I did on episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
To me, they're basically the same. Their relationships with each other have grown and expanded, but their character to me,
yes.
you know who they are. That's why I'm saying episode 2, episodes 1 and 2 are great because they do such a great job establishing these characters, and then they just coast on those characters until the very
Yeah.
end.
What they don't
that's
do-
it. They're just one note.
Yeah.
The same.
You go, Mikey.
Oh, no. I do agree that if they did expand on like their backstories and made more of that instead of like Monster of the Week.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Just give me more, dude.
Yeah.
Yes. But here's the thing, right? That would be like an anime now, right? Because writing and people learning how to write better is now. But back then, all the animes that were out, Dragon Ball, Naruto,
They're formulaic.
yeah, they're formulaic.
Yeah.
Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was the standard. Right? There's
There
a
were
bit
some
of
good OVAs
serializing.
though.
Yeah.
That was.
I feel like-
that's the difference.
I feel like they just did a bad job with the slow play because they gave you all those elements that you wanted, except like at the very fucking end of the show.
Yeah.
And instead of like building mystery as the show was going on, they just put it aside. You know what I mean? And then dropped it on you at the very end. Where I'm saying like build some mystery, build some intrigue as the show is going on, and then when those last episode hits, I've been waiting for them. You know what I mean? As opposed to like been lost a little bit and like, oh okay.
They do sprinkle it in. Like once you have the episode with the gay European who sees the little skull charm, then you have especially the religious one.
Tiny little sprinkles though.
I was just about to say, like, you keep using the term sprinkle a lot, actually, by saying they sprinkled this, they sprinkled that. I don't want sprinkles. I want
you
you to.
fucking icing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want
The
cream
fucking-
filling, dude. I want you to fucking take that eclair and just. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's what I want out of
Same.
this. That's what I want. That's what I want out of anime. Period.
You want an eclair to fill you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Yeah.
I want to be filled with cream. And this didn't fill
All
me
right,
with
then.
cream. It just sprinkled me with cream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just a little spray.
Oh God.
All right.
Again, it's
That
I'm
was
gonna
weird.
sprinkle you.
it's
Something after.
technically a compliment.
Yeah. Fill you with cream and then sprinkle you after.
Oh my God, we're weird as fuck. Okay, let's go through some of the episodes,
God,
but we'll
damn.
kind of blast through some of them. and
Yes,
if there's
yes.
any, because there are a lot of them are just like you can say like a sentence and get an idea about it.
Yes.
If there's any you think that need expanding upon, just stop me. There's
Of
a few
course.
that I think are worth expanding on. So
Sure.
for a while, they're like legit fighting the Yakuza for a couple episodes. Mugen
Yeah.
joins them temporarily,
Yep.
but that
Yeah.
comes and goes real quick.
Yeah.
Then this is an episode worth expanding on the painter.
Yes.
So
Loved it.
Fu's modeling for some perverted painter. This was a good episode.
It's a great episode.
And he actually turns out he's painting these girls because what he's doing is painting the ads because they're being stolen and sold into sex slavery, and his
Yes.
paintings become the advertisements to buy the women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then in the end, obviously, they get Fu back after she's been, kidnapped. And then one question I had about the show is, did they ever eliminate the threat, or did they just save Fu and then these guys get to keep doing what they're doing?
No, they did.
did?
There's that secret police officer that also.
Oh
fucked
yeah,
them
with
up,
the
right?
shake weight.
Right.
With the shake weight.
Yeah. yeah.
He's just doing his exercises.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the shake weight. It was
It
like
was his
that,
sword.
yeah, it was that bendy sword or
Yeah.
whatever.
He's just doing his exercises in the bushes while
And he
Fu's
gets
getting painted
naked all the
naked.
time.
Yeah.
And then
Come
at
on, comedic gold.
this episode had a lot of that actually,
Yeah.
because at the end when they're talking about the painting, Fu goes, "Oh, at least he gave me like a nice set of Hooters." And then we find out that the painting of Fu ends up getting sold to Van Gogh and inspiring him as an
Yes.
artist.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Which
this
was one of
artist,
those historical elements.
the
in
artist
there.
is Hishikawa Morinobu, who was like a super famous ukiyo-e painter. Ukiyo-e painting, you would know being like, the wave, the giant wave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? There was a huge period where there was a lot of like, humans being drawn, a lot of animals being drawn, nature being drawn, erotica,
Yeah.
ton of erotica.
Yes.
So like
all sorts of octopuses.
if you really think back, like hentai is like
Was
Yeah.
originally painted.
is an ancient art form.
All
yeah,
right.
it really is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, respect.
But yeah, so again, this was a really cool injection here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm an art school dropout, but like I learned art history. I went to art school for a long time, so like I was really, really into the idea that they were meeting actual artists from
Yeah,
history.
for sure.
And I want them to stay in this lane. I was so upset that they didn't stay in this lane.
That episode was one of the episodes that I would say is formulaic, but didn't feel like filler to me.
It felt like an original idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I mean, like the
As opposed to the eating competition episode, which comes next.
okay.
Or the captured by a massive rebel army and like set their field of drugs on fire episode. Or
Okay.
or the Beatles sumo wrestling and Gene falls in love with a sex
dude,
worker
the
episode.
Beatles sumo wrestling was killing me, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I will say, I was definitely at the end of the episode. I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
But at the same time, how hard they went on the editing of the Beetle fighting,
Yeah.
killed me, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was as
Riveting?
well edited and riveting as the human fights.
Yeah.
Just the two Beetles. Just
They only had
clashing
one
it out.
style. They
The one
only
of them
had-
like falling off the
And,
edge.
and Mugen just like training the beetle.
It's just dragging rocks around. Yeah.
I loved that, dude.
Yeah,
that
it
was,
was funny.
another highlight. I'm glad you called that out.
But those are all episodes to me that were filler, in all honesty. Like, yeah, they had their moments and they were a little funny, but like, you could take those out and the show would be better.
Well, again, like they're also leaning into the culture where they do smoke a lot of weed, right? And so,
Like, you're talking about the field of drugs that get lit on fire?
yeah,
That was funny, but that was like one funny part in a like massive 2-episode series that was not good.
yeah.
Like, in my
Okay,
opinion.
no, but the eating contest episode is the one where we meet the gay European.
Yeah, I also didn't think that was that great of an episode, to be honest with you personally.
But it was pushing limits,
Sure.
for the time.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah, so he's the gay European is Isaac Titsing,
Yes.
who was a key figure in the Dutch East India Company. So which was like obviously
So historical accuracy to a point.
totally.
but
yeah,
and he
historical
was
figure.
also one of the important people to sprinkle in a
Yeah.
little bit of the overarching story.
Yeah.
Sprinkle?
Sprinkle.
Mikey and your sprinkles. Okay, here's
Fucking
another
love
episode I
sprinkles.
think is worth spending a minute on, The Street Killer. Because this is the first time you saw a guy who probably would have killed them. Who they wouldn't have been able to beat if it wasn't for the fact that his old master at the very end steps in. Right? Gene's fighting him and the guy like does that wind technique from behind the waterfall.
Yep.
Right? But this is a guy who they would have lost to, which is the first time you see they're not OP. I mean,
Yes.
they are, but
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
invincible.
always a good thing to
Yeah.
to knock your heroes down.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's pirates. This is Mugen's backstory episode. Which, like you said, he was born on an island.
On
I
an
guess.
island,
Yeah.
and you get some of his backstory.
You get a little
Some.
bit. A little bit.
Some, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
Give me a few episodes of him on this island. I want to see what it was actually like for him
sure.
growing
I'm
up.
gonna give you more, man. You just wait.
Please.
You just wait. I'm gonna fucking fill you.
He's gonna fill you with
Fill me
cream.
with your cream, Mikey.
This episode was kind of interesting at the end because. Do you guys need a minute?
We
Depends
spent
how long it takes Mikey to whip up a batch of his cream.
I don't feel like Mikey's quick.
Fuck you.
I'm just saying, man.
Bro, I warned you. He's got samurai skills. I'm not
excited.
going to warn you again. He's going to cut you.
Yo, I'm married. Okay.
He's cutting me, filling you with cream. This is a weird episode, guys. Okay, so
Ladies love
there's
it.
in the pirate episode, there's that girl who I guess is his ex-girlfriend, kind of.
No,
Or,
it
like,
was
they
like
used
a
to
little
hang, they're
sister
friends,
kinda,
whatever.
kind of thing.
And she's kind of a crazy character because we learned that Mugen, they betrayed him a long time ago, which is why he left the pirates, and it happens again. And then you find out the ultimate betrayal is her, dude. It was not the pirates at all, because not only does she betray Mugen, she betrays all the pirates, including her brother. She sets up this situation where Jean has to kill her brother.
Yep.
And then she runs away with this other dude who I don't even know who that dude was.
So that guy was their mole on the boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they walk away together and they run into Mugen, who's all fucked up. Mugen kills that guy and just walks past her silently, dude. And she's like, "Kill me," because she fucked her life up, dude.
Yeah.
She fucked her
Oh,
whole
yeah.
life up.
And her loneliness is her greatest pain in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he left her with it.
Yeah.
He could have acknowledged her, done anything
Said
there in
something,
that moment.
Yeah.
But
The
no,
fact that he did
nothing.
nothing was even more brutal
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
cutting her head off.
Totally.
Yeah. It was a good ending.
It was a good
moment.
I
That was a
agree.
good moment.
It was a
Good moment. Okay, then we got the graffiti episode. Mike, you want to talk for an hour about this? Or?
No, because I do, but I'm literally would talk an hour
Yeah, I know,
on this. But it was a fucking great episode. And
Mugen
also,
can't read,
he can't read,
but then he learns to read.
He learns to read,
And then he wins the competition.
But he killed me. But not only that, his teacher was the best teacher for him
Yeah.
to learn to read, and not to mention writers, actual graffiti writers, really focus in on letter structure, form, uniformity.
Yeah.
Right. It's. There's just so much of it that is just so right about the graffiti culture and making letters right that they got, that I was just so impressed. Also, I think at the end when he does the infinity symbol, I think it was a shout out to a famous graffiti writer in Japan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I think I read that somewhere, but
I believe
It's
it.
also
This show
just
would do
generally
that.
awesome seeing graffiti that we normally see written in English romanized letters in Japanese lettering.
Yeah.
It just looks so cool.
It does look cool as hell. Yeah.
yeah.
It does look cool as hell.
But it's you got to be really careful with that, right? Because when you bend letter shapes and
Changes
stuff
them.
it changes,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to Asian letters.
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
More
Chinese
so than
characters.
in English.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right? You lose that structure. I did one in my Korean style,
yeah.
in Korean letters.
Yeah.
And I just put
Did you write a curse word?
No. no.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I wrote cream.
Wow.
No, but I added some flair to it and little bits, but I forgot if I put that bit exactly where I put it, just as a decoration.
changed the word.
It changed the word entirely.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Can't do shit with this.
Yeah, so I
Fucking structure.
And that's how aliens are going to misunderstand us in the end.
Yeah. They're
That's
gonna
how
look
it's gonna
down and they're gonna be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah. What do you mean?
What
Fuck
do you
you.
mean, fuck you?
And you're like, no, I meant to say welcome. Here's some
I
flowers.
meant to say it's my best friend Rio.
Yeah.
Guys, we keep
God.
quoting our Devilman episode. If you haven't watched that,
Yeah.
Give it a
go watch that.
Give that one a go.
Go watch that one.
Yeah,
these
you
two,
watch that one?
these two episodes kind of make a good pair.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I mean, of our episodes about them.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah.
I would love to see somebody go back to our Devilman episode and count the fucks.
Count our fucks.
Yeah,
Oh,
count our
man.
fucks. See how many times we said fuck.
We
in
went
that one?
hard.
We went hard.
We went hard.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, moving on.
on.
Okay, so there's an underground weapons building cult episode, which is get rid of that one. The blind chick. Another situation where we have a character who would have killed them.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And easily
Yeah.
too. Not like, hey, they struggled. Like, she was on another level.
Totally.
And the only reason why was because she was just fighting for her son.
And she realized in the end, she's like, my son's already dead.
Yeah.
These people are stringing me along.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in the end, they were nice to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. It was just so sad.
It was sad.
It was so sad, especially like, they bonded as a quapple.
A what?
Well, because we call them thruples, now it's a quapple.
Okay.
Quadruple. Quadruple.
I like Quapple more.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick with quapple, guys.
Okay.
Right, and there was the first time that the group didn't actually have to like fend for themselves.
Yeah.
And, like,
She was buying shit for them and taking care of them.
yeah.
This was an
'cause she
impactful
was-
one.
yeah.
And let me also mention one of a few two-parter episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It illustrates, I think, my point perfectly. That when they spend a little bit more time
100%.
on a storyline,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
When they just fucking fly to the next one after the next episode, that's when they leave me not giving a shit.
It kind of takes away from what they just showed you. The
100%.
fact that they just close it off and move on from it. They was like, oh, you don't care about it either.
This was a nice one.
Yeah.
It gave them some time to really develop her character.
Yeah.
And that's why Yuri, which is the girl, like she one of the standout characters I thought of the show.
You know what, man? Anytime I'm going to do from here on, I'm just going to do a fucking Kai version for
Please, Mikey.
old anime.
For the love of God, please, dude.
Yeah, Jordy just got hard.
I would love that to
Yeah, this is the first time Jordy's popped a boner.
be. Dude, you're not wrong. Someone should count our boners. Fuck our fucks.
Yeah.
I'm one. Mikey 1700 or something. Mikey's been killing it.
Make our own Kai
And
list.
you tell me that I'm not going to last long.
Nice. Nice.
Hell
Got
yeah.
him. Got him.
Well done. Okay, boner killer, poison mushroom, creepy rock star hypnotist, zombies, panspermia, asteroid hits Earth episode.
Dude.
Yeah,
What in the fuck, my dude?
It's a mushroom trip. Dude.
That's a mushroom trip. We can just move on.
It's just
from that one.
The whole episode is a mushroom trip.
That's exactly
Dude.
it. They just eat mushrooms at the beginning,
They
and
eat
it's
mushrooms right at the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a trip.
bonkers, dude. That episode was crazy. And
That-
then an
that's-
asteroid hits the Earth, and that's
yeah.
how they closed that episode off.
That's
Made no sense at all. Dude.
but I will say at the end when I saw fucking Lone Wolf and Cub, I was like,
Okay.
that was all worth it for that one moment.
Okay.
Redeemed the whole episode.
Redeem the whole fucking thing.
Nice. I'm happy for you, dude. I'm happy for you, dude.
That was a weird one.
Yeah, let me add episode 22, Cosmic Collisions,
Yeah.
to the list of episodes I will not be watching in the Kai version.
Yeah. That's removed.
I'll be skipping the mushroom.
Also, episode 23, the baseball episode.
Baseball Blues.
Yeah, baseball blues. Okay, so again, just your typical baseball episode.
Yeah.
Funny stuff happens. We
Yeah.
can move on from that one. There you go. Let's
Bro.
go.
But hold on, the baseball game turns lethal.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody
don't
dies.
Forget, don't
from
forget
it.
how they got into the baseball game in the first place. A dine and dash gone wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? He runs so fast that these literal New Yorkers
Yeah.
in the dub, legitimate like New York mafia accents.
Yeah.
They're like,
Hey.
yeah, they're like, hey, we're playing a ball game.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, so now actually we get into like the meat of the story of Samurai
Another
Champloo.
part two, a two-part episode.
That's
Part
right.
episode, yeah.
Which
So-
again, so good.
Yeah.
When they do it.
So we get a little bit of backstory on Gene finally because we know he killed his master. We know that, right? But we learned that he turns out what happened is he kind of OP'd his whole school. He was better than everyone. And then we don't know the circumstances of the killing his master yet, but we know he killed his master and then he had to leave. So now he's out on the run. We also find
God
out
forbid they had given us that backstory during maybe the baseball game or the
maybe
mushroom.
any other episode.
I don't know.
And they literally, the way they give it in the end is so mechanical. They're sitting around the fire and Fu's like, hey, we should tell stories about our past.
Well, that's her.
That's it.
That's her saying like, "Hey, our journey's coming to an end."
I know,
and I
dude.
want, and I feel like I need more from you guys because
We
don't-
do, dude. That we need
Is
it,
that
dude.
her saying that, or is that the writer saying we need some exposition?
Yeah.
To fill in some empty fucking gaps?
That's them being like, fuck, we forgot. We forgot to
That's-
tell them everything.
Honestly, that's actually how it felt in the execution.
And then
Unfortunately.
they drop it on you.
Yeah.
Like that. And that's it. Mugen doesn't tell any more backstory because we already got his vibe from the
Yeah.
pirate episode. So then we meet this like handful of crazy psycho murderers who are like hunting them. And we find out that they were on the boat that the pirates attacked. So they're just out for revenge, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, they survived somehow.
And then you also got the Shogun's official.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's like a lone samurai. He's working for the Shogun. And apparently the Shogun's also after the Sunflower Samurai. That's what we learned. And that's the reason these guys have been like left unbothered for so long by the government, because they're kind of letting our team lead them to the Sunflower Samurai or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's the whole thing of like when they were trying to wipe out all Christians in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Because it was an invading religion,
Right.
right? And so it just went against. It was a huge counterculture for them.
Yeah.
right. It's a big prevalent point.
Yeah.
Another shout out, you guys mentioned him briefly there, Kariya Kagatoki, who's the powerful samurai that gets hired by the Shogun.
Is he a real guy?
No, they give him a full name.
Oh,
but,
true.
But
Yeah.
why wasn't he in the rest of the show?
Yeah.
Well, because he had to be like one of the big bads.
But sometimes you like to see the big bad and anticipate his
maybe
danger.
make him pursuing them 10 episodes sooner
Yeah.
and watching him get closer and closer and closer,
Yeah.
rather than on literally on episode 24 introducing a really sick badass villain.
Yeah.
And only giving me 2 episodes with him.
Yeah.
I felt ripped off. I was like, this guy is a badass. This guy feels like finally we have like an equal to like Jin
Yeah,
and to Mugen that
Yeah.
I feel like will really fucking wipe the floor with them. A seasoned vet, somebody
Yeah.
that is like a fucking like master
Not
to these
only
guys.
has history with Gene.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. And you're gonna give me 2 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ripped
Yeah,
off.
Mikey likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikey's
Sprinkle.
satisfied.
okay,
Mikey's
okay,
satisfied.
sprinkle.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Fuck you both. Fuck you. You fuckers. Anyway, no, but the thing about samurai fights, like real samurai fights, they're quick.
Yeah.
They don't fuck around or else their swords will break.
But they
Right.
had reason for him not to go and attack and fight them head on.
Yeah, because he didn't think it was worth his time.
No,
Because
because the Shogun was tasked him with leading them to the
Yes.
Sunflower Samurai. So there was a mechanism built in to have him be following them and not have them fight.
Yes.
And they didn't use it.
He's also the type of guy who's like, they even say, like, he doesn't draw his sword anymore because there's nobody
That's true.
worth his time.
That's right.
And so this is the first time he feels like, oh, I can actually go and do this.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into what happens here at the end. So Fu gets kidnapped by these lunatics. She gets taken to this island where there's this church, right? Which leads into, like you said, they've been destroying Christianity, right?
Yeah.
So there's this broken down church on this island. She's getting beat up. Mugen shows up and he like ends up trading his swords for her freedom because they're gonna fight. And he's like, "Hey, I'll fight swordless, but let her go." And so they let her go. And then he ends up on top because, and this isn't the first time this happens, but because he has that little knife in the bottom
Yeah.
of his like scabbard.
Yeah.
That was a cool mechanism. He used that, I think, twice. The first
Yeah.
time I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it was great.
That's one of those things that their use of it being sparing like worked.
Yeah.
Because I liked that I forgot about
Yeah.
the knife.
Yeah.
I didn't like that I forgot about their motivations in this whole story.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But you know, the knife was
Yeah.
was a nice one. Nice
I agree.
pull.
I agree. So, anyways, he ends up taking out. He already took out the like real crazy lunatic out on the boat, stabbed underwater. Then he takes out this other dude with the chain hook blade thing by
Yeah.
slicing that guy's head off, and then he gets shot by the old dude in the wheelchair, and then blown up by dynamite. Like they're really giving Mugen a go here. While this is happening, Gene is fighting this lone samurai dude on the dock, and their fight is probably one of the best fights in the show, especially if we're talking like classic samurai shit. Like you're talking like 2 classically trained samurais.
Yeah.
We find out that this dude actually was the dude who ordered Gene's master to kill Gene, who then killed himself, seppuku style.
Yeah.
Right? Which is crazy because we finally get the story of why Gene had to go Ronin.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't actually kill his master. He just has been telling everyone that's what happened.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting for his character to not be the guy who's like, I didn't do it.
Well, for
know what I
him,
mean? Yeah.
right? Like especially in that culture, and in a dojo or whatever, it's like he's preserving the honor of his master.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Like, right. He has so much heart for this guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
It's a very Gene move.
It's very Gene move.
Very
yeah.
on brand for the
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so these guys are fighting.
Wait,
It's
I just
great.
said Gene.
You did. I
Fuck
didn't
you.
mention it because I liked it.
Jen.
So they both.
So mad.
I don't know, dude. I like making people mad.
Yeah.
I choose chaos, motherfuckers. Okay, so these 2 guys are fighting, and they both swipe swords, and we don't know who got.
Yeah.
Then we find out it's our boy Gene. Gene gets got. we think he's dead. We think both our boys are dead. And I actually legit thought, I was like,
I
they
thought
could close the show this way.
I thought one of the two.
Yeah.
I didn't know which, but I was like, they're not both gonna live.
I was convinced they could close the show off with both of them dead. And part of me still thinks it's a better ending if that's how they close it off. If they had got their little lovey-dovey friend fest first and then both died, that's, I think, maybe ideal ending to the show. It's impactful.
I do agree there with you a little bit, because I do like really hard-hitting endings and very abruptly, and abrupt endings where you kind of have to make an assumption of what's happening, where they lead you to that assumption.
I will say this was never the show that was going to give you that.
No, and I knew that too, though.
Yeah.
You're right.
I hoped. I think that's really why I felt that. I was hoping they would do that. It would have redeemed a lot of what went wrong in the show, personally.
But I do think that they went with the second best ending.
I mean, they gave you the happy ending.
Well, there would have
though.
been a third one, but okay, we'll get there.
Okay, so Fu, after she gets set free, she ends up at her dad's place. Oh, we forgot to mention that. The Sunflower Samurai is her dad.
Yes.
Yeah, Fu also forgot to mention that.
Yeah, she did. You're right.
And then she just fucking
Several
threw it
times.
in at the end of an episode. She's like, by the way,
It's my dad.
it's my dad.
Credits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on, you guys really didn't pick up on that at the beginning of the
It's not
season?
about picking up on it or not. It's about
about poor execution.
it's about how they included that
Yeah.
in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been such a through line for Fu. Instead, she's hiding it away,
Yeah.
and then it gets brought up as a little at the end of the episode.
A little sprinkle.
A little sprinkle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what do you mean? This feels like a major thing.
Yeah, it did feel like a major thing.
Maybe she's embarrassed by it.
But they'd rather them
too.
fucking fight zombies and play baseball and do mushrooms than
That's
address
the
major
real
thing.
samurai shit we needed to see.
Yeah, my fucking Kai version of this is just gonna be those 2 episodes.
Yeah, first 2, last 2.
Zombies and baseball.
Oh
That's
my
good.
god. Okay, so she's at her dad's place. He's sick as hell,
Yeah.
and he's begging for forgiveness, literally with his dying breath. And she's not having it. She's like, I don't think we'll see each other again, and walks out. And at this point, she's mostly rattled that she can't punch him in the face, because that's her goal this whole time. I want to punch my dad in the face.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, kind of badass.
Yeah. It gives her a lot of closure, right?
Yeah. A weird closure though. It's not comfortable closure. If she had
No.
punched him, that would have been comfortable closure. They left it kind of weird and uneasy for now.
Yeah, which makes it more realistic, I think.
Probably.
Well, she's grappling with
Yeah.
all of this stuff, right? Because she finds out the truth of the matter about
Yeah.
why.
That's after. They don't she doesn't even find that out until after he's dead.
Yeah, but but I'm just saying she's grappling with her father's stuff basically from this point
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
She is in her head.
There's not much more from this point on, but yes.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
With 2 episodes left, you get the character turmoil that I
Right.
wanted from her
For sure.
the whole time.
For sure.
Because now she's in it. Now
Yeah.
she's in her head. Now she's stuck. And now,
Yep.
that's what I want. That's
Totally.
Fu. That's Fu's arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did her arc only happen in the last 2 episodes?
It's like 20 minutes long. Not even.
crazy, man.
10
It's
minutes
crazy.
maybe, yeah.
I feel so bad for anybody that's their favorite character because you got ripped off.
You did, yeah. You did. But if that's your favorite character, it's not for the arc. It's for the tropes.
Potentially.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this lone samurai who we think killed Jean shows up, and he's like, I'm going to kill this sunflower samurai. Give me a minute. He hops in there. Boom, dead. He comes out. He's like, now I got to kill his family and all his caretakers. And so now we think he's going to try and kill Fu, or he offers her to kill herself, which is, of course, not going to fucking happen. And then the dreamiest Jean shows up out of nowhere, dude.
Yes.
His hair is down. It's
Down,
blowing in the
yeah,
wind.
Yeah, waving.
Dude,
yeah.
his fucking
He's-
kimono is like waving in
Half
the wind and
off.
shit.
It's a big moment, man.
Scars and blood and shit.
It's a big moment.
It was a big
as
moment,
my
dude.
favorite character in the show, I was like, this
Might
is
I
hype.
also add one of my favorite music memories of the whole show? The fucking 70s porn music as he's walking up, dude. It's the best, dude. And it stays. They leave it the whole time he's there, dude. Yeah. So he then now goes to fight this samurai guy again, and he has this technique he was taught by his master. The last technique his master taught him.
Yeah.
So
Which is
secret.
Which is
Yeah.
to basically let him get you.
Yeah,
right.
self-sacrifice.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Let him get you.
You'll
And
have
he-
a moment to strike as they're striking you,
Yeah.
where their guard will be down, and that's when you can finish it.
And that's
Yeah.
how it goes.
crazy.
And of course,
Fucking crazy.
we know how it turns out.
Yes.
Gene gets stabbed, but he wins.
Yes.
Right?
See, I think so. Let's keep going after that because I wanted to say.
I mean,
something.
it's pretty much the end. We find
Yeah.
out everyone's alive. We find out these two are healing. We find Fu finds out from this old dude what happened with her dad,
Yeah.
that he left to protect her and her mom
So, yeah, to keep
because the
Shogunate
Shogun was after him,
After
basically.
him,
so
and
he
yeah.
ran away all this time. And that's kind of it. Then they have their cute little admit we're friends kind of moment. You know what I mean? They all love each other, and then they just go their separate ways, which I also wasn't sure I liked.
Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. I think this is the best part, right? I think when they were Mugen and Jin were fighting at the end when they were both fucking like mauled and didn't have any energy, and their swords break, and they both go.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. You're right. They finally get their duel.
Their duel.
They get one swipe and their sword breaks, and they go, ha! I forget what they said, but it was something snarky.
Right, and they both collapse. And if the next scene was just, Fu at Graves, and then it cut after that, I think that would have been the perfect ending.
I would have loved, personally, if it was the three of them going, well, now what? And they going, I don't know. And then walking off into the sunset together. That's the ending I would have wanted.
Go fuck yourself. That's the third ending.
I love that ending.
No,
Because that's what this show needed. This show.
No,
Because the whole show was about the three of them growing to be this team.
Yes.
And in the end, they tore that team apart.
Yes.
For no reason.
Because they also have other goals in their life that they wanted. That's why the second best ending was given to us.
But dude, they now can work on their goals together.
I have a good ending.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know if I have a good ending. The ending that I would have kind of liked to see would have been, they're obviously recovering in this like room together, the two of them. They have their little, friendship moment that's really, really touching.
Yeah.
If they both like pick themselves up and walk over to Fu's room and they open the door and she's gone.
Oh.
And
because she did try to leave on them one time already.
And then the two of them basically set out to go find her. And at roll credits, they're together now. Like Mugen and Jin basically have decided like this is our new purpose.
Yeah.
We need Fu in our life at any cost.
Yeah.
And then roll the credits. That leaves people wanting a season 2.
Yeah.
And it leaves people who don't want a season 2 to just know that they're going to continue doing their thing just as we saw forever now. But it's a little bit of an exciting, they look at each other and they just kind of know like, let's go get her.
I'm real vibing
And then
with
they
that.
fucking go.
I'm vibing with that.
Right?
dude. I'm vibing with that.
I am vibing with that hard too. I just love
like it.
like especially having a nice package single season.
Yeah.
If they had them to both die and then
Of course,
right?
it wraps it up nice.
wraps it up nicely. But I am vibing with that.
Yeah. The ending we got, I think, is the worst one.
No, I don't think it's the worst one.
I think so,
I
dude.
think the worst one would have been if all three of them went off into the sunset and
No.
just continued on their journey.
I would have loved that.
And it would have just been, hey, okay, there's a season 2 coming or whatever. But the fact that they separated was just like this was a definitive end to that journey. Now
They just separated for no reason, though. They
they
didn't.
didn't separate.
They were
for
together for no reason, bro.
I
Yeah.
know. I understand that. But the whole show, the only character growth we got in the whole show was their growth together as a throuple.
I know.
Yeah.
So it breaks your heart to see them split.
But they didn't. If they had to split, then yes, my heart would have been broken. But I was just confused because they just chose to split. After all that, they're just like, well, see you later, I guess. They had no
big
reason.
gulps, eh?
Yeah,
Big gulps.
that was it.
See you later.
And literally in the credits really emphasize that because in the credits, what you see is just them wandering by themselves,
Alone.
Yes.
doing nothing.
Yes.
Doing
Well,
nothing,
I mean,
dude.
that's the credits, though, right? Like you're
I'm just
not-
saying
yeah.
that's the last thing we got.
Yeah, because they're not going to give you any more. The fucking season's over.
There's no more.
I've never liked a like ending where they're like they were just so thankful for the time they spent together.
I don't want that either.
I don't like
dude.
that
No,
ending.
no, no.
I don't like that
That's
either.
a sad ending to me.
I like the walking in the sunset because to me that's like we're a team now. We're just gonna keep doing this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been good. But Jay's ending's the best one. by
Yeah,
far.
Jay does have the best one. I agree.
I am
Some good
Champloo.
Your Champloo remix. All right, Jordy. What do you give this?
I
Oh,
gave
no.
I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
6.5. Come on. At least a 7.
The lighthearted comedy parts weren't funny enough.
Yeah.
The action was good, but like it wasn't related to the plot, so I didn't have a reason to care about it so much. I did find a lot of it just boring, dude. I found a lot of it super boring.
I'm not talking to you anymore. Jay.
And the hip hop element was underused for me. I was expecting that to be the identity of the show, and it wasn't. So, and that was it.
All right. Alrighty.
Extra points for too full fat foo
Yeah.
because that was funny.
That is
Yeah,
funny.
dude.
That was really cute. That was a really cute mechanic. Jay.
If I could, I would error it back to what Jordy just said and repeat it basically verbatim.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, wow.
Because
6.5?
I basically agree with everything you just said. I think we have the exact same perspective on this, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's never happened. I
That's
think.
never happened.
Which is crazy, especially considering I don't know. I don't say this like as a boast or anything, but like I've seen so much more anime than you.
Yeah.
So like I should have been so much more okay with a lot of these things. I just wasn't with this one.
Hey, dude, it hits how it hits.
But I will say that I don't mean that to be a disrespectful score. I mean that's still a passing grade, and I still respect the hell out of the legacy that this show has and the impact it obviously has had on so many fucking anime fans because people worship this show. And
the real fans, no, like the people who have seen this, that are real big fans, they're like big fans.
Yeah. I get it. I really get it. I'm just not one of you. I'm sorry.
Well,
Mikey?
I'm one of them.
Mikey, what are you giving it?
And I give it an
9.5.
No,
10.
Yeah.
Fuck you both.
No, he doesn't
I
give
don't give 10s. No, this is an 8.5.
Okay.
An 8.5. It's solid all the way through. It only loses half a mark for the 2 episodes, the zombie episode and the...
You secretly love those episodes, though.
Oh, no, I love the zombie... No, actually, the zombie episode was hard to digest. It was weird.
It was the strangest thing
and then
about
just
the whole
eating
show.
wasabi.
Yeah.
But the only reason why that episode was great was because of the Lone Wolf and Cup cameo. And then the baseball episode I could have just done without. So it just loses a half a point for those 2 episodes.
Okay.
Fair.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an 8.5.
Otherwise, perfect.
Otherwise perfect.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug.
Yeah, it must be.
It's not just nostalgia. It is on the rewatch too. The fact that the rewatch also was great.
The rewatch is triggering the nostalgia in your brain.
No. We have done a lot of other episodes where we've watched like stuff that I've seen when I was a kid, and I have the nostalgic factor, but it
doesn't
didn't
hold
age.
up.
Yeah, it doesn't age well. This still aged well, and the pacing was good, and I was still captivated, and I still had a lot of fun.
I agree in a lot of ways it aged well, but that pacing comment is gonna.
Yeah, I disagree with that one big time. But we
Yeah.
can disagree and still be friends. We've established that deeply at this point.
Many times over.
Yeah.
Fill both your mouths with cream.
I don't know how many.
Spite cream.
Spike cream.
Onlyfans.com/Anime Shmanime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've agreed to disagree many times now.
Yes.
Guys.
Most times,
I
I'd
don't
say.
know I don't know what episode we're on, but like, thank you everybody for sticking with us.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a crazy bunch of people.
Yes.
A bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
So that wraps that up.
That's it.
Yes. And so where can people find you, Jordy?
At reaching in on Instagram. What's
and
up?
QJ?
At hanger.91 on Instagram and hanger91.bigcartel.com. I recently just started drawing a lot of dragons. So
Yes.
you can go look at that shit if you're into weird high fantasy dragon shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sick fucking shit. I don't think dragons sound like that.
Well,
though.
we don't know exactly what dragons sound like.
Yeah,
so-
Jordy.
Good point. They might sound like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. Fuck me then.
Yeah. Also, go check out Never Not Kittens. They're a
Yeah.
nonprofit rescue, and they rescue kittens.
They do great work.
They do
They
great
do.
work. Please donate if you
At
can.
Never Not Kittens.
Yes. You'll
TikTok.
See TikTok on the link below. But you guys will find me on Instagram, McCreamBarbecue86. But you'll actually probably find me more on the Discord and on the TikTok that we have at Shmanime Pod.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Killing it.
Love you guys.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Bye.